I'm Dana Denha, and you're watching FYI. Earth Day is a time to reflect on the impact we make on the planet that provides so much to us. Every year, the city hosts a festival for Mother Earth to teach everyone how to keep her happy.
It's the Arbor Earth Day Festival!
We've got partners from all over the city that work in ecological practices, coming together to talk to folks about how to better support our Earth.
The legacy of Earth Day really started here in Ann Arbor, which is something that I think a lot of us hold true and really find special. So there's actually a community of people who come together to make Earth Day happen every year. It's environmental nonprofits in the area and the city who work together. And we feel like it's really important because there's a lot of businesses working on the environment in our city and around our city.
There's always new science, there's always new daily practices that people could bring into their lives to make changes to support our environment.
So we have lots of activities for kids, everything from mixing and matching games, learning how to recycle, learning what it means to grow your own food, plants that they can plant themselves and take home.
Behind me, you can see our nature playscape, which is a playground, but it's made of natural materials. You could climb up the rocks, you could climb up the sticks, you could pump the water and dam it up or let it go, and you can make decisions about how you're interacting with the world around you in a very hands-on, experiential way.
Stay tuned, and we'll be back with more in exactly 30 seconds. To honor Ann Arbor on its 200th year, Concordia University celebrated the city through art embracing the past at the historic Earhart Manor.
We're really excited to welcome the community to our Moments in Time exhibit, graciously donated by a dear friend of the university, Jim Irwin.
My business is here, and then I bought a building on Main Street in 1984, and in the year 2000, expanded that building, doubled its size, and then I had all these walls on 315 North Main Street. So I decided to put together a collection, because my building had a wraparound porch and it pretty much looked like a 19th century English style mansion.
They depict some of the most important happenings in Ann Arbor and some of the most important people that made Ann Arbor what it is today.
So I thought I would start a collection of oil paintings of Ann Arbor in the 19th century. Well, we selected more than 30 buildings of impact in Ann Arbor, homes of well-known people, common areas like the firehouse, and important businesses like Allmendinger Organ Company.
Mr. Irwin spent 8 years doing the research for these paintings, and he was able to find historical photographs and commissioned Daniel Gregory, an artist from Sarasota, Florida, to depict these scenes.
He's a detail person, and he really got into historical realism through these paintings because it involves a lot of research.
When you walk around and when you hear the narration, but then really when you see with your own eyes these paintings, you're going to get a glimpse of what Ann Arbor was in its early days.
So I fell in love with Ann Arbor, particularly Ann Arbor in the 19th century. And so we ended up with a total of 34 oil paintings, large oil on canvas, all framed with the same frame.
You look back, but you also see a bit into the future as you think about how Ann Arbor has changed and maybe even how it might continue to change in the years ahead.
There are many chances to volunteer in Washtenaw County, but one entity requires the help of environmental stewards. Learn more about the many opportunities within natural area preservation in this month's City Roundup in 60.
Hi, I'm Tina Stevens, Volunteer and Outreach Coordinator with the City of Ann Arbor's Natural Area Preservation. Our mission is to protect and restore Ann Arbor's natural areas and to foster an environmental ethic within the community. There are many ways that you can volunteer to support the natural areas, including volunteering with our breeding bird survey program, becoming a turtle steward, or taking photos as part of our photo monitoring program. You can even volunteer to join our prescribed burn crew. Most folks volunteer by attending our public work days, which take place nearly every weekend. At these events, we do things like hand pull invasive garlic mustard, cut invasive shrubs, or collect and spread native seeds. To learn more about NAP or how to volunteer with these opportunities, visit www.a2gov.org/NAP.
Being Black in America is an experience only someone who walks in those shoes can understand. This year, a new festival to promote inclusivity was established for African Americans to share their art and stories through film. Joining me is Chris Anderson, Executive Director with the Ann Arbor Black Film Festival. Welcome to the show, Chris.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
Chris, tell us a little bit about you and how you got involved with this Ann Arbor Black Film Festival.
I'm grateful for that question. I'm a longtime Ann Arborite. I wasn't born in Ann Arbor. I was born in Chicago, actually, but I went to Huron High School. I went to elementary school here. I did go to college outside of Ann Arbor, but I did come back because my mom got injured, and then I ended up staying here because Ann Arbor is really a fun place, and I really enjoy being here. That being said, Carol Gibson, who is the creator of Another Ann Arbor and also a producer on Detroit Public Television. I had spent a lot of time talking with her because we would cover the Ann Arbor African American Festival, usually for Another Ann Arbor or like random promotional products we were making. And I was always telling her, we should have a film festival here. There should be a Black film festival here. I think that's really important. I think there's a lot of really talented filmmakers in Ann Arbor, and I think it'd be really cool for some people to see like what other people outside of Ann Arbor are making as well. And I think that would be a really interesting and a compelling show. And we'd actually talked about that for probably like over the last 5 years, like going back and forth, like pre-COVID sort of thing. And post-COVID realities, at some point you think to yourself, I got to make a thing happen. At the last festival, I spoke to her and I was like, I really want to make this happen. This has to happen. And we spoke on it a little bit, and then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to make it happen. So I built the infrastructure. I reached out to a bunch of really awesome contacts for judges, which we'll definitely talk about in a little bit. But like, we pulled together a great group of people, I think, to sort of go over these films and talk about these films. Currently, we have 40 submissions right now, which is very exciting, from like 13 different countries, or rather 7 different countries and 13 different states. And it's really just awesome to see how excited people are to be a part of our show. And I think people will be really excited to see some of the content that we have pulled in from around the world.
Yeah, I was wondering because, when you're first getting something started, so this is the first year of the Ann Arbor Black Film Festival, you never
Yes.
know if you're going to get people to submit or not. So you have people that are submitting currently. Yes.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, we hit our 40th film today, so that was pretty amazing.
So,
The
what are the criteria for film submissions?
Oh, that's a great question. So, first off, submissions are due by April 26th, this year. And we really would appreciate something that's sort of like discussing diversity or with a majority African American cast or directed or like in some way majorly produced by an African American production crew. We really want to like provide this opportunity for people to be able to like share the works and collaborate and like meet other people that are working on things as well to sort of like build our film community, definitely.
And are they short films? Are there different categories? How does that work?
Yes. Well, we're taking fiction and nonfiction, and also music videos as well. So we have a few music videos already, which is definitely fun. But actually one of our films we received is from Florida, and it covers the journey of a teacher from Duval Elementary School who basically changed her elementary school score during No Child Left Behind, if you remember that, in like the 2004-ish,
Hmm.
2008 like she changed her school's grade from an F to an A, right? And she was able to maintain that with her new teaching tactics, which actually were studied by the University of Florida as well, to basically help compel all those students to love learning, which is amazing. The director, Boaz Devere, uh, created a great work. The film's called Class of Her Own. And we're really excited about showing films like that. And also like trying to create really interesting partnerships with other community groups to like get these messages out.
Speaking of a partnership, you mentioned that this is running concurrently with the African American Downtown Festival, but it also is dedicated to Lucille Porter, who was the founder of that festival.
Oh yeah, 100%. She was a big proponent for community building and just showing off like how Ann Arbor was, because Ann Arbor even for longest time had a very vibrant African American community going back to the 1940s to the 1970s, specifically in the downtown area where the festival resides right now. So Lucille Hall Porter, the sort of community activist who started the nonprofit organization, the Community Learning Post, which helped people like prepare for jobs of out of bad situations, which is really awesome that she sort of dedicated her work to that and also dedicated her work to like helping build community and entrepreneurship with her festival. But there's like no better person I feel like in Ann Arbor to sort of exemplify that. And I feel like once again it's a great sort of connection because we're not really going to pull necessarily from the same audience, but I think what I think and I hope will bring in really new and interesting people to like come to our show that will also be able to enjoy the African American festival.
Where are the screenings happening?
That is a terrific question. We are currently in talks around that. I don't want to necessarily say where we're going to be at right now, but we are hoping to have a really great screening opportunity. But definitely stay tuned. Visit us at a2bff.org. That once again, a2bff.org, and you'll be able to find out all the new things happening with our film festival.
Did you design or work with the designer of the logo too? Because that also has significance.
Oh, I appreciate you. Thank you. Actually, I was the one to design that. I do fancy myself as a pretty cool designer. I'm also a media producer as well, so like working with creative media, a whole lot of things. But excuse me. Um, but when I was growing up in Ann Arbor, I completely remember a ridiculous amount of willow trees like all over the place. It doesn't seem as much in this day, but I definitely remember a lot of willow trees, and I wanted to like have something that sort of like reflects that experience of Ann Arbor, right? Like usually when people think about Ann Arbor, they think of like an ash tree or something like that. But uh I always loved the way the willows looked next to the river, and I built mine to look like one of our famous willow trees, but the with film reels instead of like, to help it with its like sort of shape. And I think it works out pretty nicely.
It's a lovely logo.
Thank you.
You're like a jack of all trades in this situation.
Well, that's a really cool thing about filmmakers and media makers in general, right? Like if you look at what like a people like Mr. Beast, for instance, right? I mean, like at one point in time, he had to be able to do all the aspects of his production company. Now he's like running what like a billion-dollar company, like doing his thing, right? Um, like, but like those people that really understand, like there are producers that just sign checks and give orders, and there are producers that truly understand the craft because they've spent time building the things and they understand the hardships of how that work is created. And
I completely understand because my job is like that, where you're a producer, but you're the camera person, you're the editor, you're the writer, you're everything.
exactly, exactly.
Well, you mentioned earlier that you reached out to some judges and stuff. Tell me about the judges, and then there's awards and prizes?
One of our first judges, Carol Gibson, the creator of Another Ann Arbor, right? And one of Detroit Public Television's former consulting producers. Also, one of my friends who I met at the University of Miami in film school, Alice Luna, who works as a film editor out of Hollywood, who's worked on the Collector and Lie to Me. Also, there's Elizabeth James, who is the program manager of the Department of Afro-American and African Studies at the University of Michigan, and Fred Culpepper, who is a local documentarian, film producer, and the owner of Creative Fluidity. Um, they're all really awesome and engaged people that have like their own passions and ideas of like what makes a good film. And I think like together we're going to do a really good job of finding the perfect body of work to show to our Ann Arbor public. But I will say, like, we've gotten so many amazing films. It's going to be kind of like, sad to see which ones will have to be like left behind because we only have a limited amount of time. But that being said, like, if you want to submit to our show, please do so because like we definitely want films from Ann Arbor because like currently as it stands, we have films from Detroit. We have films from Big Rapids. We have films from like Illinois and California, Florida, Georgia, Mississippi, North Carolina. So many different places, but we don't have a single filmmaker from Ann Arbor, or at least Ypsilanti or like somewhere in the Washtenaw County area would be great.
Yeah. Well, we know that we have amazing creators here in this area, so there's no reason to
100%.
not have some people submit from Washtenaw County.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. It's a good idea. Like if you have a film that you'd like to submit, like I said, it could be a music video, it could be a short documentary, it could be a narrative. Please send it in a2bff.org. We'd love to have it.
And you plan on having, there's the screenings, you're planning on having panel discussions and other special events during that time frame.
We're exhibiting on June 1st, and we are going to have discussions after every film. Probably going to keep it pretty short and brief, but we definitely want to create an experience of discussion around it. I actually had a really great opportunity. The Ann Arbor District Library posted a really great series of films for its 200th anniversary, by the way. Happy 200th Ann Arbor. So like everybody
Bicentennial,
celebrates that.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And it was really cool because it talked about how community high school was like one of the first Black schools in Ann Arbor, and like talked about like how it changed from being called Jones School to now community high school. And the discussion we had after that film, after we all watched this documentary, was like incredibly powerful. I think it was like almost as powerful and cathartic as watching the film itself. So like I 100% want to have like experiences for that for people here because like yes, not every film is going to be as like sort of touching or uh like sort of emotionally tear jerking as the Jones School film, but like there are definitely still conversations to have, even in the most silliest of projects that we've received.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and like when you're talking about visual arts, there's something for everyone, you know. Like Joan's School might have really hit you emotionally, but then
Right.
something funny might really get someone else in a different way. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like you never
100%.
really
Definitely.
know.
Yeah, exactly. And that's sort of the great thing is just sort of seeing the diversity of filmmaking that we've received and all of that. We one of our films from Mississippi was really cool. It was sort of like uh, um, talking about this community college and how they have sort of built this really amazing choir and sort of what they do with that and how they have a connection to music in their area. And it was just really just like a fun thing to watch because it's like sort of like a documentary music video, like something like VHN would have produced. It's a lot of fun. Though
Yeah,
I don't know, does VH1 even do
I don't think they have
music
music
videos?
videos anymore. I think you got to go like to
Yeah, no one does that
MTV5 or
anymore.
something like that to
You have
watch
to go
music
on YouTube.
videos. Well, why and how can people support the Ann Arbor Black Film Festival? Do you guys need volunteers? Do you need funding? Or do you just need
Yes.
filmmakers? How does it work?
Yes. Well, yeah, 100%. Yeah, if you have talents that you want to offer to us, definitely, we please join us and help us grow because this is a really strong beginning, in my opinion. Like considering how fast we've grown, not just the number of submissions we've received, but just like the general interest and positive flow from like some of the different news outlets that I've talked to about this. It's been very cool. That being said, please visit us at a2bff.org. There is a spot where you can like fill in information if you want to volunteer, or you can email us at a2blackfilmfest@gmail.com, and we'll definitely reach out back to you.
Well, I'm impressed too. I'm don't think it's easy to start something like this and really get the ball rolling this quickly in its first year.
Yeah.
So, what are your hopes for this year and hopefully down the road again, maybe year after year with the African American Downtown Festival?
Yeah, well, like I hope that what we sort of do will help build a longer version of both of our shows. I think that it would be really awesome and cool if we got like I don't know, there are like in the African American community, there's like and I'm probably gonna hurt some feelings, but I believe like 2 to 3 really major film festivals. There's one in Martha's Vineyard called the Martha's Vineyard African American Film Festival. That is a Oscar-worthy show. So if you get your film in there, you might be able to get an Oscar. Right, like same with the American Black Film Festival in Miami, which you know, like who doesn't want to go there? And I believe also the Great Harvest Film Festival in Chicago, another really great show. But like I think Ann Arbor is in a very interesting spot in sort of the nexus of the world because we end up influencing things that people don't think we would influence. And I really think that we can get some really interesting filmmakers and people here to just sort of like hang out and be a part of our space. And I think that will not only just uplift the general like media sort of like community here in Ann Arbor, but also like sort of create really interesting unexpected outcomes. And I'm very excited to be the one that initiates that. Um, it's it's really cool to see like how many people are really excited and happy to share the show. And I like this has definitely been like a effort of passion and like consistency. And I'm just really happy to like on June 1st show you guys all these films and do things with that. But I do want to mention, I'm sorry, I'm like monologuing, but like in the talking about doing like other sort of events. Like one of the events we actually have planned on in the future, I spoke to the director of Africology at Eastern Michigan University, and I mentioned one of the films that we have, and he sounded very interested to try to like do some sort of presentation at Eastern and like have a discussion around that specifically for the students there. And I thought it would be really a great opportunity to try to bring in like different departments to talk about like just like filmmaking and whatnot, and see where else that can go as well.
Well, we're out of time, Chris, but I want to thank you for being on the show. And I want to thank you for being the go-getter that you are. The world needs people like you that are going to make things happen. And you're obviously that sort of person.
Oh, I appreciate you. Thank you. I try my best. Like, I always say to people, like, if you can't, like, there's if you can't beat them, join them, right? But if you can't join them, then pave a new path.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely.
For more on this and other programs, visit a2gov.org/CTN. Visit youtube.com/CTN Ann Arbor to see all that we have to offer. And remember to like, subscribe, and ring that notification. Thanks for watching and tune in next time to FYI.
Thank you for having me.